Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the Bearcats, where the American Athletic Conference champions, the UConn Huskies, going to tip off top of the hour right here on SNY. As we welcome you, the UConn women's basketball pregame show. I'm Gary Apple, back alongside the Hall of Famer herself, Kara Walters. And let's begin with that regular season conference championship that UConn wrapped up over the weekend. 133-0 all-time in the American Conference. That is just I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, when you look at those numbers, what do you make of those?
It's really hard to put into perspective, put it that way, Gary. I mean, it's so crazy. It's hard to even compare it to anything. That just doesn't happen, which is so funny that we're talking about a team that's not as good this year, right? A team that's down in the dumps. That's pretty awesome for what this program has done, what they have done in the last couple of years. So they want to keep that going. I think, you know, it's one of those things as a player, you don't really care about things like that, but wouldn't it be nice to finish off that conference knowing you're going into the Big East next year and flawless? So I would like to do that if I'm one of the players, so I think it's important to them.
One of the things I think that's interesting is they feel this sense of responsibility, even though, as you said, down in the dumps, they're 23-3 on the year, ranked 6th in America, 13-0 in conference play this year. But they do feel this sense of responsibility to the program and the legend that you began and the rest of your teammates and the legacy that you've all set forth before them.
That's not a bad thing.
No,
you know,
I think it's a good thing.
You said that to me once, and you're right, come to think about it, right? And it's very respectful what they do, knowing the history, knowing they wouldn't be where they were if it's not for the past. So that is very respectful. At the same time, you know, you're doing pretty darn well, you know? Reach for the stars, landing in the clouds, and you're still doing all right. That's what I like. So, you know, very respectful. It's glad that they feel like they need to continue, and they're doing a good job.
I love the modern day player when they have respect for the game and know the history of the game, and they do know that at UConn. And so clinching that title on Saturday, not easy. The Huskies battled a very physical UCF team en route to the title. Here's the Hall of Fame head coach Gino Auriemma. He addressed the challenges of that physical matchup when the game was over.
It's going to be like that. You know, their style of play is a very, very aggressive style of play, and they're trying to disrupt everything that you're doing, and the only way you can do that is you've got to really get after it. And when you're getting after people, pretty good chance that it's going to get real physical. It's not just playing hard, it's playing physical. They're a tough bunch. They're a tough bunch to play against, and they're a tough team to beat. You know, luckily for us, our defense has been really, really, really good for long stretches during the game, and that certainly helps us.
Let's get more now on that physical play from Saturday. We bring in Maria Marino. She joins us now from Cincinnati. And Maria, a part of the physicality on Saturday ended up on the face of Olivia Nelson-Ododa. She took that shot to the nose, forced her out of the game early in the fourth quarter. So give us a health update on her and her status for tonight's game.
So Olivia Nelson-Ododa was not at shoot-around this morning. It was unrelated to her nose. She was actually not feeling well. She started feeling under the weather yesterday, and Coach Auriemma was hopeful that whatever medicine that she might be taking would be doing the trick, because he said that they need her. And as far as her playing regular minutes tonight, he said they would just have to see. Now, if she does play, and when she does play, because she is expected to, she won't need to wear a mask over her face to protect her nose. The nose was not broken Saturday against UCF. However, she did wear a face mask earlier this week in practice, just purely as a precaution. Of course, the team really does feel Olivia's absence when she's not on the floor. After the injury in the last game, that's when UCF cut UConn's lead down to 10. And even at halftime, when I had caught up with Coach Auriemma, he told me that her staying in the game was actually the key to the team getting into an offensive rhythm. In the past, she's had to sit because she's had early foul trouble, and that breaks their offensive flow. But they really rely on her to have that post presence in the paint as a scoring threat, and also to use her length on defense.
Well, there's no question they're a different team with Olivia Nelson-Ododa on the floor. We thank you, Maria. See it coming up on the broadcast in just a little bit. So when you talk about physical play and the way it can help UConn going into the postseason? What sort of effect will it have for them as they look forward?
And again, that's another thing that's not bad, right? You get that now, that adversity, that fighting back. And this is a Cincy team that's going to be physical as well. So basically from here on out, if you can't beat them up, right? We've said that's what teams do because they know that UConn sometimes has a hard time when teams are physical like that. So they're going to see it from here on out. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's what you do. They don't have a lot of big size underneath, so they have to be physical, and you're going to get that again here. But I think it does prepare you for the tournament because guess what? Everyone's going to give it their all. The thing that needs to happen is when UConn punches back, not physically, metaphorically, when they punch back and they don't go back on their heels and they handle the physicality of a game, they have to make sure they do it smart. What happened in the last Cincinnati game, Olivia Nelson-Ododa played great, right? But she was limited because of her fouls. So they have to have a way to go strong, be physical, compete, but hang in there because, look, they don't have a depth in their bench, right? So things have to be the perfect storm for them to continue down the road into the tournament. And one of those things is being smart and not fouling, but also not being back on your heels.
And you're right about teams looking to play UConn physical. We saw it from Central Florida. We saw it from South Florida. We'll see it tonight against Cincinnati. Cincinnati, by the way, comes in having won 5 of their last 6 games. So Kara and I just getting going here on our pregame show. Going to hear more from Gino Auriemma on preparing his Huskies team for the challenges of the postseason. That's ahead. Plus, going to take a closer look at how Anna Makarat's offense has progressed this season and where she still needs to improve on the defensive end. Kara and I back from Studio 31 here in New York City in just a moment.
Makarat from the corner. Yes.
She loves those corner threes. When she gets into a groove, man, that is a beautiful shot.
Makarat with the steal. And the foul.
Makarat showing some quickness. And you can just tell this kid is playing with so much more confidence these days. Every time she shoots the ball, she knows it's going in.
Makarat and one.
See, you got to go aggressively to the rim. Smart play by the freshman Makarat.
Big smile on the face of Anna Makarat, and for good reason. Something over the last couple of games has really clicked in on the offensive end for her as we get a look at the numbers presented by Town Fair Tire. Gino Auriemma, he was asked about her 17-point performance on Saturday, and he had this to say after the win against Central Florida.
That drive, that bucket, that bank shot and the foul, that was huge. That came at a really big moment in the game. And then she made a 3, I think. You know, so yeah, I think she's to the point in her season now at UConn that if you don't start the game, you know, I'm glad that it was a different half for her, the second half. She was really good. Really, really good.
She certainly was, and I think we're seeing this maturation process right in front of our eyes. So what do you see from Anna Makarat that's working right now for her?
Well, freshman of the week, she averaged 17.5 points, right, between the Tulane game and the Central Florida game. But what I really liked that stuck out to me was in that Tulane game. She had 18 points, but she had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 6 steals. So that shows you how she is maturing. When she came to UConn, she was a shooter, right? She thought she was just a shooter. Now, like Gino said, she took it off the bounce. She got fouled. She went to the rim. She's getting rebounds, assists. Now, we all know she, and we've talked about it before, has a high basketball IQ. And she is a great facilitator because she passes the ball extremely well, too. So having a shooter that can do all of those things is really important. And that's really big because coming to UConn, she was a shooter. Now, at this point in the year, she's not a freshman anymore come February, right? And she's learned to do other things. And when you focus on doing other things, your shot comes eventually, and you can see it turning now.
Yeah, she's more than a shooter. You're right. She's more of a basketball player now. And her ability to put it on the deck and create for herself, I mean, that's a game changer for her. We've spoken a lot about her defense, and at times her how do we put this kindly, her immaturity on the defensive end. And her, that's
fair.
Kindly put. What are you seeing there that needs to improve still?
Well, I see a freshman playing defense than I see a person who didn't play a lot of defense overseas when she played in Poland. Now, one-on-one, if you watch her keeping somebody in front of her, she's not the quickest. She's just not. She's not the quickest. She's not the most athletic out there. And keeping somebody in front of her man-to-man has been hard for her. However, you need to be a smarter player if you're not a quicker player, right? So I feel like she's learned as the season's gone on about team defense. This is a UConn team that's doesn't have a lockdown. Like, Gabby Williams, you guard this person, right? So everything's by committee this year, and the defense is definitely by committee. So she's learned how to do it as a unit, not just one-on-one.
So much more to come here as we get you set for UConn and Cincinnati here on SNY. And as we head for break, going to take a look at the American Conference Freshman of the Week. That is on a Makarat, looking to keep the hot offensive streak going tonight. And so we're back in just a moment. So the basketball community gathered in Los Angeles on Monday to memorialize and celebrate the lives of Kobe and Gianna Bryant after their tragic passing a month ago today. Amongst those in attendance, the UConn head coach, the Hall of Famer Gina Auriemma, who remembered Gianna's first trip to UConn.
When they came to UConn and they sat behind the bench, and there's Dad bringing his daughter to a game, and they have their shirts on, and she's got this coat on, and she has her hat on, and she's just a little kid at a game. And again, I felt more like a dad than I felt as a basketball coach, because I've done that with my kids.
The same way Kobe inspired a generation of basketball players, Gigi in turn Kobe's interest in coaching and teaching the game. Gigi in many ways represents the future of women's basketball. A future where a young woman aspires to play in the WNBA, the same way I wanted to be a Laker. Gigi already had goals to play for UConn. That in itself showed her fearless mentality. She represents a time where a young girl doesn't need permission to play. Her skill would command respect.
I wanted to be a part of the generation that changed basketball for Gigi and her teammates, where being born female didn't mean being born behind, where greatness wasn't divided by gender. You have too much to give to stay silent. That's what he said, that's what he believed, that's what he lived. Through Gigi, through me, through his investment in women's basketball. That was his next great act, a girl dad. Basketball in many ways was just a metaphor. I still text him even though he's not here. Thank you for everything. The rest is for you. Rest easy, my guy.
What a day Monday at Staples Center in Los Angeles. And after her emotional tribute on Monday, Sabrina Ionescu then went on to make history against Stanford, becoming the first men's or women's player to record 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 1,000 assists in a collegiate career. It sort of put a bookend on that day, which was still hard to believe after a month. But we refocus in on tonight's game for a moment right now in the matchup between UConn and Cincinnati. Going to send it out to Ellen Beswick and Meg Como. They've got the call for us once again tonight from Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati. Guys.
Gary, thanks. So, Olivia Nelson-Ododa, we've talked a lot about the great level of play she's brought to this team over the last month or so. She got roughed up a little bit on Saturday. Players respond to that differently. How do you think she'll respond tonight?
Well, you know, it was really encouraging that she practiced on Monday, didn't wear a mask, didn't seem to be too bothered by it. Now, think about how far she's come, because I think she takes that whack in the nose a month or two ago. You know, maybe she didn't have that inner fortitude that we're seeing in her now. And I don't think she's feeling great today either. So I'll be curious to see how she reacts tonight.
Yeah, Olivia feeling a little under the weather, so did not participate in the shoot-around earlier today, but has been on the floor since the team arrived here at the arena tonight. There's been a little bit of an element of intrigue around Jamelle Elliott's return here to Cincinnati. Of course, she was the head coach of the Bearcats for 9 years. 2 years ago, she was dismissed. Would her presence here be any factor playing against Cincinnati? Look, it's 2 years ago. While a lot of the players that are on the floor for the Bearcats tonight are her recruits, different coach, different system, and we don't see it making much of a difference. We have seen Jamelle make a big difference since she's come down from the development office to the UConn sideline.
I mean, Jamelle has made such a profound impact on this team already. Not only with her positive encouragement and enthusiasm with the post players, Olivia Nelson-Ododa in particular, but all of them and all of the players. But she's also a great sounding board for Gino and what she provides, the vision, what she sees. You know, yeah, she's an assistant right now, but you're a head coach for 9 years. It's hard to lose all of those skills and that mentality. So I think it's a terrific boost for Gino and his staff and the team in general.
And we've seen that level of play in these last 4 or 5 games for sure. They'll need a high level of play tonight, Gary and Kara, to beat this Cincinnati team who hasn't lost at home since November 13th.
All right, Alan and Meg, we thank you both. Look forward to your broadcast coming up just a little bit. There's Olivia Nelson-Ododa. Again, had her day cut short on Saturday. Looking to get back into the mix down low tonight against Cincinnati. Kara and I coming back in just a moment. We get a look right there. The senior point guard, Crystal Dangerfield, getting set for tonight's game against Cincinnati. Maria Marino catching up with the head coach this week for the latest edition of the Gino Auriemma Show and picked his brain about getting this team ready for the postseason.
There's always a time towards the end of the season where you forget that there's still conference games and conference championship to worry about. And you don't want to you don't want to minimize any games. So a lot of times it's really, really good if you have lots of big games leading up to the end of the regular season because you can't afford to overlook anybody. Or you have truly driven, competitive guys that just want to, they don't care who they're playing, they just want, destroy everybody. But it's like seniors. It's the same as late in the season for a team. It's the same as when you coach seniors. You cross your fingers and hope that when they're seniors, they're not thinking about what's next. And sometimes when they're thinking about what's next, they get scared that the season's coming to an end, my career's coming to an end, and what's going to happen to me after that. Or they're so anxious to get to the next thing that they forget to enjoy like all the stuff that's coming. Your team is the same way. The postseason is going to be here whether you hurry up and want it here or whether you so let's just finish the job that we have and you try to keep them focused on what's next.
So the latest edition of the Gino Auriemma Show coming up tonight immediately following our postgame show right here on SNY. The Huskies, 3 games to go now in the regular season. The ultimate goal, Kara, to bring home a 12th national championship. What about the coaching staff? We heard Gino speak about it right there. That balance, preparing this team for the postseason while still trying to get through these last 3 games. And then the conference tournament, which begins in early March.
Yeah, I think with some teams, they might look ahead. With this particular team, I think it's a little different. I think every moment of every practice and every game is really important going forward, right? They need to get Kristen Williams going. They need to get Anna Makar playing better defense. They have so much to do that they can't just be like, we'll see at the finals. It's not like that with this team, right? But maybe in the past it's been. But I really believe that this team is taking it one day at a time, one practice at a time, because they don't have a choice. They don't have the luxury of having Nafisa and Katie, and well, we'll get there. They'll deal with it, I think it's a different vibe this year than in the past. And
you're right about Kristen Williams. They need to get her going. Just 3 points last time out, 1 of 6 shooting. She is a huge X factor for this team. Yes. They need to get her back on track. And if this team is going to win, they'll need Megan Walker to lead the way. She is the American Conference Player of the Week. Looks to keep that momentum going tonight. But before we head for break, let's get checked right now. UConn's upcoming schedule after tonight's matchup with Cincinnati. The Huskies going to take on Houston from deep in the heart of Texas on Saturday. Then they finish off the regular season March 2nd at home against South Florida. The AAC tournament tipping off on March the 6th. And Kara and I with what to look for early in tonight's game when we come back in a moment. here we go. Starting lineup for UConn: Dangerfield and Kristen Williams, then Anna Makarat, Megan Walker, Olivia Nelson-Ododa. Despite that shot to the face she took over the weekend, she is back in the starting lineup for UConn tonight against Cincinnati. It's a Cincinnati team that comes in averaging about 70 points a game, and in conference play, UConn is only allowing opponents about 48 points a game. So I think something's got to give there.
They have the leading scorer in the post, so it's going to be a post game. It should be interesting what happens with Olivia. Rebounding was huge for them in the last game, 47-28. They have to hit the boards again. I think defensively, it's going to be a battle in the post, right? And also in transition. I'd like to see them get a quick start. That's been something. They've had ups and downs. A quick start, get Kristen Williams involved, right? Like I said, there's lots to do in these games to take advantage of every minute. So defense, rebounding, getting Kristen involved, inside post play. I could go on and on and on, Gareth. There's lots to do tonight.
There is. And what about Kristen? How do they get her confidence back?
She's got to just start. I think once she hits the first shot, the second shot, things start going for her. But she's been many games here in single digits. She has to get back. First 15 games, she was double digits. Now single digits. She's got to turn it around. She's just got to get in that mental.
Yeah, 4 consecutive games, single digits. And this is a player who can be a prolific scorer. So what we're seeing from here right now, it's hard to sort of fathom what's going on with her. And they do need to get her going. We'll see if it happens tonight against the Bearcats. So Karen and I going to see you back on the halftime show. Right now it's UConn and Cincinnati here on SNY.
Fifth Third Arena shining brightly through a rainy, snowy Cincinnati night. Inside, the UConn Huskies get ready to play the second-place Cincinnati Bearcats with Crystal, Anna, and Olivia looking to continue the perfect conference season the Huskies have going. 3 games to go in the regular season, and tonight a 1-versus-2 matchup in the American. It's the conference regular season champion UConn Huskies against second-place Cincinnati. Our UConn Women's telecast presented by the Connecticut Lottery. Hi, everybody from Cincinnati, Alan Bestwick and Megan Kulmo. We have talked many times during these broadcasts over this winter about the Husky offense trying to build toward March to get where this team wants to go. Let's talk about the defense trying to build toward March. What are you liking about the Husky defense?
Well, hey, defense wins championships, right? Defense and rebounding. And this team has really played exceptionally well this season on the defensive end of the floor. Gino's a great teacher of it, number one. But I think aside from communication, which is so vital, they work together as a team because they know they need each other. They do a great job of taking away the opponent's best scorers, and by doing that, everyone's aware, they know what's going on, and they have been outstanding all season long.
They've done such a good job. There isn't a single conference opponent that's even gotten to 60 points against the Huskies in this winter. Megan Walker, very easy to make a case, should be the conference player of the year. We don't see Megan generate a whole lot of headlines, but she's sure generating a lot of points for UConn this year.
This kid has done absolutely everything that the coaching staff has asked of her, often playing out of position. You know, she's a guard. She's playing in the lane a lot. But she shoots the ball so well. She's shooting about 43% from outside the arc. I just love the way this kid just fills up a stat sheet. Does it very understated, very quietly, yet, you know, she's averaging 19 points a game. She's doing a little bit of everything for these guys, and they're going to need her to continue to do it.
Led the Huskies in scoring for the last 5 games. Will she lead them in scoring tonight here in Cincinnati? It's UConn and Cincinnati in a 1-versus-2 matchup. Will the Husky starters be happily dancing on the bench at the end of this one? We'll know in a couple hours. And our starting lineups tonight presented by Subaru. Same 5 for the Huskies as for the last number of games, including Anna Makarat in the starting lineup. 3,000-point scorers in the starting lineup for Cincinnati's 5. Reiser and Thomas the forwards, and Miller a guard. Miller was the one who had a great game against the Huskies when they met January 30th back in Stores. And keys for the game tonight. As you look at Olivia Nelson-Ododa, certainly she's been a factor for UConn significantly in the last several games. We mentioned missing the shoot-around today, but she's been out on the floor since the team got to the arena.
Yeah, and, you know, for UConn, they have to come out and establish themselves early, particularly on the offensive end. and not let the momentum of this home crowd and Cincinnati plays so well here at home. UConn has to try to come out and knock them off their game a little bit.
Mentioned for Cincinnati, they haven't lost here since the second and third games of the season. Second game kind of played at Parker against St. Louis. Third game they lost in overtime to Ohio State. Cincinnati in the red home uniforms tonight. Huskies in the national flag blue road uniforms. And we're underway. With Reiser winning the tip over Nelson Adota. Here's Miller driving quickly. Reiser. Short. Kristen Williams will start the first offensive possession for UConn. Trying to catch Sifa leaning toward a screen. Instead, Sifa adjusts well. Now Williams finds Dangerfield. That'll bounce over the top of the backboard.
Pretty good movement there offensively. People kept cutting through the lane, even though Williams had picked up her dribble.
Front court pressure by the Husky defense now. So they'll get the ball up to Sam Rogers. Cincinnati will. And Bearcats will set their offense. Amari Thomas gets all of her points in the paint. 23, one of the top 2 leading scorers in the conference. Sifa will throw it up from outside. That won't go. There's Olivia. Kristen Williams. Stops, pops, won't go. Megan Walker, offensive rebound, up and in.
Once again, Megan Walker dragging down that offensive rebound, putting it back up.
Molly Thomas, guarded by Nelson Adota, so she pulls the shot down. Here's point Sifa. She'll take an extra step.
Kristen Williams off on this shot, but no worries. Good position there by Walker. No box out by 11, Rogers.
Olivia with such a height advantage over Thomas. Marquardt will drive and feed. Williams. Won't go. Gets her own rebound. Blocked by Thomas. Tries to save the ball from out of bounds. Here comes Sifa on the run out for the Bearcats, but good defensive retreat by UConn. Rogers will try to hit Reiser in the paint and throw it away.
Nice aggressive look in the lane.
Michelle Clark-Hurd in her second year heading the Cincinnati Bearcat program. 10th overall as a head coach. 42-19 in her time here at Cincinnati.
Terrific first year. 24 wins last season.
Nice feed, Marquardt to Olivia, but the layup wouldn't go.
You know, that was thinking too much and going up a little soft.
Antoinette Miller for 3. The senior from Detroit who led the Bearcats in scoring and rebounding in that January 30th game in Stores. Olivia will be called for travel.
You know, we talked about how Nelson Adota wasn't feeling great today. Let's also talk about how her nose was nearly broken over the weekend, and then came back out to practice on Monday, not wearing any kind of mask. You see, today she's not. Some toughness from the sophomore.
See what kind of minutes she pulls in tonight's game and how effective she might be able to be. 14, Adea Moore into the ball game for Cincinnati. First sub, 10 to shoot. Thomas against Megan Walker, cut off. Moore with 5 to shoot. Blocked by Olivia.
Another great team defensive sequence there. Talking through screens, and then it's always nice when you have the shot blocker on that backside. If a guard should happen to get beat, good drive there by Cincy.
Reiser pulls up over Olivia, way off to the right. And a shot clock violation and a turnover to UConn.
It's such a luxury to know as the guards that you have Nelson Adota on that backside ready to swat a shot away.
Defensive switch here. They've now got Reiser on Olivia. That's Crystal Dangerfield. Too strong.
Well, she got hit. She looked at the official and said, come on.
Meg Miller throws back to Thomas, and she'll travel before Crystal was able to knock the ball away. That's 3 straight turnovers by the Bearcats.
But UConn has not been able to capitalize on the offensive end off of those turnovers.
We talked about, Meg, just a while ago, how important you thought it would be for the Huskies to get off to a strong start. 3.5 minutes into the ball game, a single bucket on the board for UConn. Inside to Megan, working on Sam Rogers. Rogers will flop and get the call.
I don't agree with that call. Now, unless she hit her with her right arm, that's a bad call.
First on Megan. Gino expressing his displeasure with the call. Rogers did that a couple times in the last game. One of them she did on Olivia. Remember, Olivia got an early foul trouble in the game in Stores.
Shockingly, Gino was very sarcastic with the official.
No. 7 to shoot. Miller with the pull-up over Crystal. Missed everything, and it falls out of bounds. Turnover again by Cincinnati to the Huskies. Shooting percentages in this one, not something either team will want to see on paper.
I think it's safe to say that this is not aesthetically pleasing right now.
Crystal Dangerfield drives all the way in.
Pretty drive and smart recognition by the senior. There was a gap there. They didn't stop the ball. She took it to the hole.
Cincinnati shooting 1 of 6 in this early going. Thomas. Makarat cuts her off. Feeds outside to Rogers, who drains the bucket. That's 3. Sam Rogers.
She's their three-point shooting threat. I mean, only shoots 32%, but she's the one who takes the most threes for the Bearcats.
Kristen Williams with a nice cut and gets it to go.
Even that ball sat up there for a little while just to terrorize her.
Well, Kristen has struggled a bit lately, but hoping that maybe tonight could be a breakout night for her before we get into postseason play. Get that feel back. Miller guarded by Makarat. Missed.
You're supposed to get that roll at home.
Yeah.
What a smart take.
It's good defense by Altitude to just go straight up with the arms. Dangerfield to Makarat lets it go for 3. Anna Makarat has been on fire the last couple of games from behind the arc. Cut off by Megan Walker. Bearcats will reset with Rogers. Thomas sets the screen.
Good communication, they switched.
Reiser with the shot, back iron. Rebound tapped by Kristen and Crystal to
And
Megan.
then they ran into each other.
0 for 7 on their last attempts from the floor. Miscommunication between Makarat and Olivia. And a timeout as we're already through the first 6 minutes of this ball game. Kristen Williams gets 1 to go. She's on the board for UConn and a 3-point lead. And positioned for the moment under the basket to the right of the floor as you look at it is Maria Marino, whose report now is brought to you by Toyota. Maria?
Hey, Alan, after shoot-around today, coaches were reinforcing defensive strategy to the team. Chris Daly telling Megan Walker to make sure she knows how to guard both positions, the guards and the post players, because she might find herself facing both situations tonight. And in fact, Megan said that she felt like she was in that position last game against UCF with Olivia Nelson-Ododa in and out, but also more often than not throughout the season. And she says being able to do both is important. Assistant Shea Ralph, meanwhile, emphasizing to her guards, perimeter D, how to approach certain people, who to take away, who not to, and how they need to help each other.
Maria, thanks. Defense a topic tonight. Cincinnati does have the potential to score a lot of points. Huskies will need to play them tight, especially on the road.
And when you're switching like they often do, you got to communicate.
Rogers with the miss. Megan Walker with the defensive rebound. Irwin into the ballgame. Sets a screen. Olivia has gone to the bench. Megan Walker off the Irwin screen. Shot too strong. Kristen Williams couldn't get the rebound. It knocks to Sifa. And the Bearcats run. Sifa dumps inside. And Kyla Irwin will draw the foul. Reiser will get the bucket and one.
Didn't look like a lot of contact from Irwin. She hit her. Smart play for Cincy. You know, it's always such a smart play before the defense is set on that break. Just go to the hoop.
Angel Reiser completes the three-point play. Bearcats bring a little full court pressure. Kristen Williams handles the ball.
Lucky they didn't call that.
8 to shoot.
She got going a little bit out of control there. She did.
Rogers.
Yeah.
Rogers draws the second charge she's drawn in the contest.
And it's funny, Rogers bumped Walker, or Williams rather, earlier in that play, and I thought, wow, you're not going to call that?
So tied at 9. Miller from outside won't go. Reiser overran the rebound. Williams with a nice feed to Megan, who's quickly closed on, but gets the ball back, pivots, and deposits.
Nice patience inside by Megan Walker.
A little defensive confusion, but also offensive confusion, and a travel is called on Cincinnati.
Now there, the nice pass. Ran it down, but I like how she just stepped through, kept her composure, and finished.
Amari Thomas comes back into the ball game for Cincinnati. Adea Moore will go out. 2-point Husky lead. Dangerfield off the Walker screen, finds a lane. Shot high. And Kristen Williams, trying to put the rebound back, will draw a foul on Florence Sifa.
And you see Dangerfield laying on the ground, and she's looking around going, seriously? Yeah. No one's going to call this?
Yeah. So to the free throw line will go Kristen Williams. And we've talked about the difficulty of the ball going in the bucket for Kristen. She has 7 single-digit scoring games this year, all in the last 11 games. But from the free throw strike, first one good, second one good.
And they look good. You know, those are little confidence boosts in and of themselves. I know it's just a free throw, and that sounds so simple, but that should do something for her confidence. Right now, every little bit helps when you're in a slump like she is.
See for Thomas, trying to work on Megan Walker. Gets her own rebound on the miss and makes it.
Well, Walker did a good job the first time, but then she didn't turn and boxed her out.
Rogers. Marco tries to get the step. Rogers will be called for the foul this time as she went to the floor.
Terrific take by Makarat. I mean, she realized, watch this, she just had a half a step. She saw a little bit of daylight and took it.
And so Anna Makarat goes to the line for the and one. And a 5-point UConn lead. That's 6 for Makarat in the ballgame. Minute to go in this opening quarter here in Cincinnati. Sifa feeds underneath to Thomas. Ball knocked out of her hands by Kristen Williams. That'll stay with Cincinnati. 17 to shoot. Feeds Reiser over the top of Megan Walker. Doesn't go. Irwin with the rebound.
She could have taken her.
To Williams. cruel. Both sides of the rim and wouldn't go.
At least she's being aggressive and taking it, though.
Shot wide off the mark to Crystal Dangerfield. 25 to go in the quarter. Crystal will go end to end. Have it knocked out of bounds by Antoinette Miller.
How about this? She tried to take it, really well defended by Antoinette Miller.
Is that the first Euro step we've seen from Crystal this season? I mean, Aubrey Griffin into the game. Kyla Irwin out, 22.5 to shoot.
Good minutes by Irwin. Some good matchups for her.
And the ball obviously got a little wet. Karen Frano was wiping it with a towel, and that was the delay in inbounding. So Huskies will set up for a last shot. Gino calling out signals. 10 to go. Walker all the way in, and one.
Well, Sifa thought she was there. I thought she was there, too.
I just couldn't see her feet to see if she was standing on that line, standing on the arc. But Megan Walker will try to add another and make it a three-point play. And does. 6.8 seconds to go. Miller lost control of the ball on the way up. Rogers from way outside sails over everything, and that is how the first quarter will end. 12-4 points in the paint in favor of UConn. 19-11 in favor of UConn on the scoreboard. If you've ever wondered what a Bearcat is, there is an actual live one on court here in Cincinnati. 8-point lead for the UConn Huskies over the Cincinnati Bearcats as we get ready for the start of the second quarter. Alan Best with Megan Como with you. Happy to share some great news, at least we consider it great, hope you do as well, that SNY has reached a new multi-year agreement to continue to carry UConn women's basketball for upcoming seasons, and we're really happy to be able to continue to do this for you.
Yeah, very exciting as UConn is moving into the Big East. We will remain a part of the broadcast, and excited to do about 18 games a year and pre- and post-game shows, so we're very excited.
So it's a happy day for us, and again, with the move to the Big East, a lot of new things and exciting things ahead for the Huskies, and all of us at SNY very thrilled to continue to be a part of UConn women's basketball and serve you, the great Husky basketball fan base, wherever you may be watching. Tonight, we're coming to you from Cincinnati, where the Huskies and Bearcats both had a fairly slow start to this thing, but business picked up in the second half of that opening quarter, and UConn will inbound the ball with an 8-point lead to start quarter number 2. Megan Walker with 7 points. Anna Mockrock with 6 to lead the Huskies in that opening quarter. Here's Crystal Dangerfield, cut off by Miller. Aubrey Griffin still in the game. Olivia still on the bench. Mockrock will pull up. Front iron. Rogers will have the rebound.
Pretty good movement by UConn so far this whole game.
Been pleased with
On
what
the
you've seen.
offensive end, absolutely.
Taylor Moore back into the ball game. Back iron. Fight for the rebound. And Mockrock taps it to Megan Walker. Oh, great cut. Aubrey Griffin, Mockrock missed the layup. Aubrey and Megan fought for the rebound. Third time will work.
Padding her stats, Megan Walker.
Reiser gets ahead of the Husky retreat for a layup bucket for Cincinnati.
Heads-up play by Cincinnati. Move the ball up the floor on the pass.
Aubrey Griffin will go all the way to the bucket and one.
What an explosive first step Aubrey Griffin has. So difficult to stay with her. That's a tough matchup for Reiser. And just that split-second decision at the end to turn that corner and shoot it.
Three-point play completed for Aubrey. The foul was on Reiser. That was her first. Husky lead is 11. You see points in the paint have significantly favored UConn. That will be Amari Thomas up and over.
That communication thing I was talking about,
Didn't work that
was a breakdown. And to the point where Gino and Chris Daly screamed from the bench like, hey, what are you doing? She's wide open.
Megan Walker. No. Kristen Williams with the rebound.
Good effort there by Williams to keep this possession alive.
10 to shoot for UConn. Aubrey tried to set the screen. Megan couldn't shake loose. Here's Crystal with the pull-up over Rogers. No, hit the rim on both sides.
Halfway down. We've seen a lot of that here tonight.
Yeah. Moore on Makarat with a nice spin, but missed everything. Felt the defensive pressure there.
I thought she got a little bit block, too.
Griffin on Rogers.
Terrific cut.
Nice cut by Crystal Dangerfield.
That's the movement that they have lacked consistently throughout the course of the season. Terrific play there from the senior.
Thomas with Griffin guarding. Stops. Blocked by Megan Walker.
Wow, nasty block, too.
Dangerfield to Kristen Williams. Miller tried to draw the foul. Williams will draw the points.
Miller tried to flop. Glad the official didn't fall for it that time.
Megan Walker with another block as Reiser tried to go up with the bucket.
Nice help defense. Megan Walker, 2 possessions in a row. I think she likes swatting shots away.
I'm going to have to stop and look and see how many games she's had 2 blocks. Olivia's back in the ball game. Aubrey Griffin goes to the bench. Chella Watson, 35 into the ball game. Olivia will get there.
Great help. Great save that time by Nelson Adota.
That will be on Megan. Offensive foul.
Well, she did push off with the left arm a little bit, and it's right in front of the official. It does help. See, she did push there. See, that's why they made that call.
One of those indicators you're looking for. So second foul on Megan Walker.
And it didn't help Walker that it was directly in front of the official.
He had a pretty good look. Rogers, back iron. Megan and Makarat.
Wow.
Knocked the rebound out of bounds off each other. That wasn't some cute nickname I was trying to coin. It wasn't a cute result either. Cincinnati opened their last 5 from the floor. Rogers blocked by Olivia.
Terrific anticipation.
That outbound pass intercepted by Watson. Rogers has to pull down because Olivia was coming at her, missed the shot. Megan Walker with the rebound. There's Olivia. And Thomas. Back to Megan. Yes, that's 3. And Megan Walker goes to double digits already in the ball game. Makarat anticipated the pass, intercepted. The long ball anticipated for Sifa. Here's Kristen Williams. That's 3. Timeout, Cincinnati. A 10-0 run by the Huskies, including 5 blocks in the ball game for UConn. Nice run. Halfway through quarter number 2, a 19-point lead for the Huskies on the strength of a 10-0 run. A look at Como's Court Vision now, brought to you by Yale New Haven Health. What you seeing, Nick?
Well, much better offense. I like the spacing, and they're moving well without the ball. Now let's check this out. As this play evolves, Aubrey Griffin's going to get the ball in the low post, okay? Now when the ball comes in, freeze it there, okay? Now look, everyone is spaced out nicely, okay? Defense is there in the red shirts. Now go ahead, Now watch this. Right here is where it's wide open. That's where you got to drive. Great cut by Crystal Dangerfield. And a nice pass from the freshman Griffin.
Huskies are out rebounding Cincinnati, 22-11 in the ball game. I mentioned they have 5 blocks in the game, 4 of them this quarter. And Cincinnati is 0 for their last 7 as they inbound the ball here.
Well, we talked about defense off the top of the show. UConn being active defensively. Molly Bent in the game now. Looks like they're in a 2-3 zone. Kyla Irwin in as well. So they're mixing things up. Active hands, though. Active feet.
Miller to the corner. William Nelson won't go. Offensive rebound by Reiser.
Well, in the zone, it's you got to find a body and box out.
Reiser over Nelson Adona. That shot won't go. Crystal Dangerfield with the ball. Rogers all over her. Tries to get it inside to Nelson Adona, but Olivia was tangled up there with Angel Reiser.
Well, that's why Bent can't give up the dribble.
And a 3 from outside, Antoinette Miller. Leading the way for the Bearcats again tonight against the Huskies.
Let's go, Cincy!
Nice play into Nelson Adona from...
Yeah, she double dribbled.
She's looking around like I got bumped, but not getting that call.
Well, when you double dribble in a situation like this, it's because you're indecisive. But she did put both hands on the ball, I thought.
All right, so turnover by the Huskies. And Anna Makarat will come back into the ball game. Molly Bent will go out. And Olivia Nelson Adona will go out as Kristen Williams comes back in.
Not a bad game for Nelson Adona to not feel well and be under the weather.
Yes.
Because the Bearcats don't have excessive size on the inside.
Griffin with pressure on the ball. 10 to shoot for Cincinnati. Miller directs traffic. She'll take Makarat one-on-one. Pull up. No. Fight for the rebound. That's going to be knocked out of bounds off Cincinnati. UConn ball. Maria?
Hey, Alan. Kristen Williams, as you mentioned, having some shooting woes. She scored in single digits her last 4 outings. She already has 9 tonight. I asked her backcourt mates about the slump. Megan Walker saying the only thing to really get you out of that is being mentally tough and continuing to shoot the ball. She said she's certainly been there before, and things will change. And even in big games, you tell yourself it's going in, and that's what'll happen. Crystal Dangerfield said that Kristen just needs to have short-term memory, but when she sees one go in, hold on to that.
Best athletes move to the next play very quickly. 3 to shoot. And Irwin made a pass instead of taking a shot.
Yeah, that's just lack of recognition and paying attention.
So 9th turnover for the Huskies. Bearcats bring the ball up, having made one of their last 11 shots. And the lead is 16. And Aubrey Griffin trying to pressure on the ball. Miller and Makarat. Quickly down to 10 to shoot for the Bearcats. Miller shot won't go. Long rebound. Will go all the way back to Miller.
And I saw Crystal turn and look and was almost looking for somebody else to get the ball.
Floater inside to Reiser. Won't go. Gets her own rebound. Blocked by Griffin. Fans wanted a foul. Looked to me like Griffin got the ball. 2.5 to go, second quarter. Dangerfield to Kyla. That's 3.
That's what Kyla Irwin has to do. Play good defense and then knock down open shots.
Leah Nelson, one of the freshmen for Cincinnati. Number 2. Hands off, shot won't go. Irwin on the rebound. Makarat 1-on-4. Hands to Griffin trailing and got with the left hand up and in. The freshman tag teaming. I'll call a ticky-tack foul on Aubrey Griffin. Don't forget, Gary Apple and Carol Walters will be here momentarily with all the first half highlights and analysis. And you'll hear Molly Bent's advice to the freshmen on the UConn women's basketball halftime show presented by Ford. Immediate advice would be just keep doing what you just did on that last bucket.
Yeah, for sure.
Foul was on Aubrey Griffin. Reiser short on the shot, gets the rebound over Kyla Irwin. Thomas, strip, got it back. Finds Miller in the corner, that's too strong. Griffin there for the rebound. 3 minutes and counting, no points for the Bearcats. Dangerfield stops and pops.
Nice decision by Dangerfield to pull up. Oh, she
As
got
a
away
foul.
with a big foul.
Dangerfield with the swat on Miller. And with 1:13 to go in this quarter, Antoinette Miller draws the foul, and the Bearcats will inbound the ball.
I heard that foul all the way over
Yes,
here.
you did. You might have even heard it at home through some of the crowd microphones. Thomas on Irwin. Awkward attempt with the left hand.
Well defended.
Walker on the run out. What a play. And one. Who was the Bearcat player that went tumbling through the court? That was Rogers. And she gets up and comes back into play okay.
Nice long pass. Interesting foul call.
I think she got the arm on the way through. So Marquardt
Yeah, she did.
will try to make it a three-point play. And does. And so Anna Marquardt now up to 9 points on the night for the Huskies. Minute to go. Second quarter. Thomas inside. They'll call a foul on a push-off. That'll be Kyla Irwin kind of got into the back of Angel Reiser. That's a pretty good call. Second foul on Kyla.
It did look like her player got displaced, like that she pushed her.
So 3 minutes and 43 seconds without a point for the Bearcats. Here's Rogers working on Kristen Williams. Nelson working off the screen. Now gets it inside. Thomas outside. Miller over Aubrey Griffin. Won't go. Williams knocks the rebound to Dangerfield. Huskies run. Marquardt to Williams. All the way to the bucket. Unselfish.
Pretty fast break by the Huskies.
It was. 28-point lead for UConn. Half minute to go in the quarter. Nelson guarded by Williams. 10 to shoot. Knocked away by Irwin on the floor. Thomas rolls it to Miller. Can she get a hole in the defense? Shot won't go. Goes to Marquardt for the rebound, and that will be the frantic finish to the second quarter.
I tell you, Gino Auriemma was clapping so enthusiastically, really happy with his team's effort.
22-3 run to close that second quarter for the UConn Huskies, and so a 46-18 lead at the half.
I need my camera.
And for Cincinnati, 0 for their last 10 in a 4-minute, 37-second scoring drought. And Maria is with Gino, presented by the Genius 3D Mammography Exam. Go ahead, Maria.
Coach, things seem to be working well for you on both ends. What do you want to see more of in the second half?
Well, I thought our defense was amazing the entire first half, you know, and we seem to have a little bit of trouble getting started offensively, but once we get started, we seem to be pretty good. So if we can keep playing defense the way we're playing and keep getting out in transition, but I loved everything that we did that first half, except, you know, you got to do it 20 more minutes.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Did you hear that quote?
I don't know if I heard that properly.
Well, Gino's having a good night. Huskies are having a good night. They've held Cincinnati to 17% from the floor. Kristen Williams with 11 points. Megan Walker with 12. Halftime show coming up.
UConn Women's Halftime Report is brought to you by our local Ford stores. I'm Gary Apple, back inside Studio 31 alongside the Hall of Famer Kara Walters. When you hear the head coach, Gino Auriemma, the Hall of Famer, as happy as he was going to the halftime locker room, that means something.
A lot.
Yes.
A lot. You know, I almost feel, Gary, like we keep talking about with Megan Walker or with Kristen Williams, right? Do other things and your offense will come. It's kind of like this UConn team, right? They said, let's be the best defensive team we can be, and then our offense will come. And that's what you're seeing, right? Their defense was phenomenal to start early in this half. The offense was so-so. As time went on, their defense got stronger. Everything went, like the energy level was harder. They started scoring. They started cutting. You saw activity coming through the lane. There was a lot more energy about them. So if you can get that defensive presence and that energy going on the defensive end, eventually it's going to turn into good things happening on the offensive end, and that's what you saw today.
It was certainly the case in the first half. They held Cincinnati to 18% shooting in that first half, and UConn leading at 46-18 at the break. They finished off that half on a 22-3 run. So the Ford halftime report just getting going. When we come back, I want to take a look ahead to the second half, plus the senior guard Molly Bent with some sound advice for the freshmen. We'll hear that and have so much more when we come back in a moment. UConn 22-0 all-time against Cincinnati, well on their way to going 23-0 as we get a look at first-half stats. Presented by our local Ford stores, UConn shot it at 55%. They were 4 for 4 from beyond the arc. They dominated in the paint, also owning the rebounding battle, and 9 second chance points to 2, all part of this 46-18 lead for UConn over Cincinnati at the break. We'll look ahead to the second half when we come back in just a moment. Here we go. First half category leaders presented by our local Ford stores. And it's Megan Walker leading UConn in points and rebounds in that first half. Our Maria Marino caught up with the senior Molly Bent recently, and she shared some sage advice for this year's freshman class.
It's fun. Like, at the end of the day, it's fun. And they love basketball. And if you love basketball, there's no better place to be than here. And I also told them that just, you know, sometimes Coach CD, they'll be yelling at you, they'll be giving you a hard time, but it's never personal. They just want to make you the best player and person that you can be. And so just to take everything that they say and take it in and apply it and just go hard every day and have fun.
I think that is good advice. It's a short period of time at UConn. Make the most of it. What about Megan Walker in that first half? Well on her way to another double-double. She's got 12 rebounds.
Well, and only one of those was a 3, Gary. So I like that she's scoring in a variety of ways, right? She's driving to the hole. Her mid-range jumper is better. She's offensive rebounding. So there's so many ways. She's so versatile, and that's what makes her so dangerous. And I love that she only has 1 3, and the rest is off the bounce.
So UConn 133-0 all-time in the American Conference, well on their way to going 134-0. They lead a big 46-18 at the half. Karen and I will see you on the postgame show when it's over. Second half after a break.
28-point lead for the Huskies after 2 quarters, and we get ready to start the third here in Cincinnati. 46-18, UConn over Cincinnati. Alan Bestwick and Megan Cuomo with you. And now the challenge. Gino said he saw his team play a half he had nothing to complain about.
Which is
but he
shocking.
wanted to do it for 20 more minutes.
Well, I wonder if he was aware that they had 9 turnovers in that first half. I don't think he was completely cognizant of that, but obviously very happy with the defensive effort by this team and the way they blocked shots. 6 blocks in that first half, and Olivia Nelson-Adota had half of them. Just impressive the way they always knew where the ball was. Good help. Nelson-Adota's really good at helping from that back line. And Griffin, with her athleticism, was impressive yet again. And they held the Bearcats to 18% shooting from the floor, 30% from three-point range.
Isn't that something? And, of course, Cincinnati, a team that's put up a decimal place shy of 70 points per game and held to just 18 in those opening 2 quarters by this UConn Husky team. You mentioned the 6 blocks. 5 of those 6 came in the second quarter alone. And so the Bearcats come out looking to see if they can dig in a little bit here in this third quarter. Maria talked to the Cincinnati head coach.
That's right, Alan. Michelle Clark-Hurd said that her team has to take care of the basketball and get back in transition. She also told them that they got to play their game. She said that wasn't us out there.
Well, the Bearcats will have the ball to start this quarter. See if they can play their game. There's Antoinette Miller for three. That's front iron. Good rebound by Kristen Williams.
Well, UConn has a habit of getting teams out of their game and making them do things they don't like to do. And they've done a really good job of it here tonight.
It's a good habit to have. Williams guarded by Sifa. 10 to shoot for the Huskies. First offensive possession of quarter number 3. Monteron steps back. Got it. That's 3.
Wow, right as the shot clock was about to expire. That saved that offensive sequence.
On a Markarot into double figures, 11 points. That will be out of bounds. It hit the end line, the sideline. Turnover to UConn.
Nice job. Look at that little step back to create space. But the presence, well, that was only a 2, okay.
I thought he signaled 3 to start, so that's my error. Great shot. There's Olivia. Against Thomas. Step back to the row, and that was wide right. Crystal with the rebound. And the 3.
Crystal Dangerfield wanted it that possession. It all started with that aggressive offensive rebound from the shortest player on the floor.
That goes for the Bearcats, and Antoinette Miller continues to lead their charge tonight. Huskies have not missed from beyond the arc.
I thought you were going to jinx it there.
I know, but I had to say it. Now they're 6 for 6. Anna Markarot now leading scorer in the ball game. And it'll be a foul on Nelson Adota. And so Antoinette Miller will go to the charity stripe.
Let's take a look. You know, blocking is contagious. You come down like that with the arm. The officials will call that 9 times out of 10.
So Antoinette Miller, the senior from Detroit, leads the team led the team in scoring and assists last season. Only 4 games this entire season. She's not scored in double figures, and that was a wide right. Miller 20th all-time in scoring for the Cincinnati program.
It just got a 1,000-point in the last game of the weekend against Tulane.
Just both of the free throws there. Gino calling out signals.
So is Kyla Irwin.
And Shea Ralph calling out direction too. Dangerfield way outside, around and out. Here's Amari Thomas. Running ahead to Sifa. Dangerfield got back, but not enough. Florence Sifa, the senior from Burundi in East Africa. Megan Walker. That's 14 for Megan. Miller feeds to a cutting Jaden Scott, and she will draw the foul as she tried to go up to the basket. Megan Walker will pick up that foul, and that's her 3rd. Jaden Walker, one of the freshman class. Jaden Scott, rather, one of the freshman class for this Cincinnati Bearcat team, one of twin sisters, as Olivia will go to the bench. Point to the paint presented by Rings End, decidedly in favor of the visitors from Connecticut.
And this team, Cincinnati, leads the American in free throw percentage, not shooting well from that free throw line here tonight.
So Walker will go to the bench with her 3 fouls. Aubrey Griffin will come into the ball game. So it's Markarot, Williams, Dangerfield, Kyla Irwin, and Aubrey Griffin, the 5 on the floor for the Huskies. Rogers, Sifa, Miller, Thomas, and Jaden Scott for the Bearcats. Dangerfield off the Irwin screen, draws the defense in. Markarot buries the 3.
Terrific extra pass there from Dangerfield.
59-23. Makarat now with 17. Miller from way outside. No. Makarat with the rebound. Aubrey Griffin underneath has it blocked and knocked out of bounds off of Scott. All right, teamwork replay breakdown presented by Travelers.
A nice screen by Irwin, and then you see Rogers cheating over to stop Dangerfield. And in the air, finds the open Makarat.
Makarat again from the corner off the inbounds play. Kristen Williams with the offensive rebound, and she'll draw the foul going back up. It should be Amari Thomas who picks up the foul for Cincinnati.
What a great offensive rebound by Kristen Williams. Great effort.
So timeout Cincinnati called with 6.5 to go in this third quarter. Huskies with a big lead. Anna Makarat is the leading scorer in the ballgame tonight.
Well, and shooting so well from behind the arc. I mean, the team is 7 of 9 from three-point range, but getting out on the break, they've had really good spacing all night long, making the extra pass. They're in a really good rhythm offensively right now.
Makarat 6 of 9, 3 of 4, 2 of 2 from the free throw stripe. She's added 3 rebounds and 4 assists, only turned the ball over once. And the freshman having a fabulous night here for the Huskies. So Kristen Williams will shoot free throws here. A lead that was 28 at halftime is now 37 for the Huskies. And Williams, another one of those subplots, having a very solid night here in Cincinnati.
Well, yeah, the fact that she's got 13 points now, when she has been struggling so much lately. That was nice to see a kid coming out of a slump.
Makarat, good movement to block Amari Thomas. Ball on the floor, goes right back to Florence Sipa, who gets the put in.
UConn just couldn't get their hands on the ball. Sifa was in the right place at the right time.
Sipa with 4 for the Bearcats. Tyler Irwin to Dangerfield. Runs into 3. Aubrey Griffin with the offensive board, blocked. And so that will be a tied up ball, and it will stay with the Huskies on the possession arrow.
Lost the handle on it as she just got it up there. Griffin didn't see the player behind her. Good defense by Cincinnati.
So 19 to shoot for UConn as they inbound. Tyler Irwin will get tied up as well. So on the change of possession arrow, it turns over to the Bearcats.
Every time something happens, Jamel Elliott is yelling out encouragement from the bench. She has made such a difference on this staff since she joined them a couple weeks ago.
Elliott coming out of the development office, of course, the former head coach here at Cincinnati for 9 years. There's Antoinette Miller with the bucket. A lot of these players for Cincinnati are players that Jamel recruited here. Let go by that program a couple of years ago. Warmly welcomed back to Connecticut and brought back onto the coaching staff when Jasmine Lister took that leave of absence. And you can just tell, especially with the bigs, when you watch practice, what a difference Jamel has made for this Husky team. Foul called on the floor against Sam Rogers. That's her 3rd. There's Jamel. And the energy she brings, you know, sometimes it's a change of voice too.
Yeah.
You know, when
different set of eyes.
Yeah, when Chris Daly's talking to the bigs since what, you know, all summer really, but since official practice began. Dangerfield got it from outside. 12 for Crystal. Turnover. Huskies run. Now Aubrey Griffin will slow it down.
Terrific hands by Griffin to steal that ball.
She's so quick. Ball deflected as Dangerfield tried to inbound.
She tried to pull it back.
And Makarat will grab Antoinette Miller and draw the foul. So timeout, 4.5 to go, quarter number 3. Huskies outscoring the Bearcats 18-9 in this third quarter. Maria listens in on Gino a lot in those programs and also tonight in these huddles. Maria?
Hey, Alan. Well, Coach told me on the Gino show that as soon as Jasmine Lister took leave, Jamel Elliott saw him coming one day and she looked at him and said, don't even think about it. She knew what was coming. She didn't want to be a coach anymore, but the more she thought about it, you know, she wanted to help. So Gino said her impact was noticeable right away. She brought that fresh set of eyes. She had no preconceived notions. She tells him what she thinks at every chance. And he also said she's filling the role of an assistant, but she's not really that. She has 9 years of head coaching experience here at Cincy. And he said they got lucky. She was already working for UConn at the time.
Maybe that spark that the Huskies need to get where they want to go down the stretch of this season. Antoinette Miller too strong on the shot, fights through the traffic to knock the rebound to Sifa. And Florence will reset to Miller. 20-second shot clock reset for the Bearcats. Tyler Irwin cuts Miller off. Sifa, strong right hand off the glass. Florence Sifa, her third made bucket of the ball game to go with 5 rebounds. Tyler Irwin with plenty of time to drain the 3 from the corner.
And she loves that shot from the corner.
Long shot from outside by Miller. Rebound knocked away out of bounds off UConn. It will be Bearcats ball. Imari Thomas, one of the leading scorers in the American, completely held in check by the UConn defense in this ballgame.
Yeah, UConn has done a really good job to see if it gets called for a walk. You know, we talk about it all the time. They do such a good job of taking away the opponent's best player, and they make other people step up.
Thomas is 20th in the nation and leads the American in points per game. And she's been held to that tonight. Irwin feeds to Aubrey, and it goes, and one.
Showing her strength and athleticism to get that ball up and over the rim. Nice give and go. I mean, she almost did it two-handed just to get her hands on the ball.
Sifa just a fraction of a step late reading that. And so she goes to the bench with her 3rd foul, and Aubrey Griffin adds the extra. That's 8 tonight for Aubrey. Rogers. For 3, that's short. Aubrey Griffin there for the rebound. .41-point lead for UConn. And another 6-0 run. Kristen Williams runs into trouble, gets it free to Irwin, and Kyla puts it up and in.
What poise there by Williams as she was about to lose the ball, converged on by the Cincinnati defense.
They will call Aubrey Griffin with an armbar.
I mean, look at this. Red jerseys all around her, kept the poise, and Kyler Irwin did a nice job of presenting herself in a place where she could be seen.
Rogers to the bucket, no. Rebound knocked to Irwin. Dangerfield will slow it down. Now feet ahead, off the rock. Dangerfield will stop. Get Kristen Williams, who gets 3. Well, there's going to be a lot to like when you go back over this one in the postgame show. One of the headlines will be Kristen Williams gets going.
Yeah,
16.
That slump is, I think, going to be a thing of the past for her.
Out of bounds off on a Makarat. The way the Huskies have shared the ball tonight, 18 assists on 28 made baskets. And the defense, who will have 19 seconds to try and keep the Bearcats from getting an opportunity. Knocked out of bounds off of the Bearcats. Huskies ball. Next UConn game on SNY is Saturday afternoon. Final road game of the regular season. It's from Houston as the Huskies take on the Cougars. We start with the pregame show at 2:30 Eastern time, only on SNY. I have to add that Eastern time for my own benefit, because I'll get there in Houston and think, yeah, 2:30. Here's Kristen. Yes, the three. That is 3 of 3 from outside today for Kristen Williams, and a timeout called by Cincinnati. Would you look at that score line tonight against the second-place team in the American?
I mean, UConn making a statement here tonight. And they've just done it the old school way of playing good defense, working together on offense, taking the open shot. And it's been nice to get Kristen Williams off the schneid a bit here. But she's continued to work, moving well without the basketball. She knocked that down in the first half, but she hasn't looked back.
Spending extra time after practice, taking shots. Gino looking on, working with the coaching staff, and just came back off the bench with a big smile and a shout, and she's having a good time tonight, and why not?
Yeah, 13.7 rebounds. She's made her only 3. Am I looking at them?
That's the last sheet, yeah. 19 up to for Kristen. 6 of 10, 3 of 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Shot off the mark, and Kristen with another rebound there. That'll be 8 rebounds on the night for Williams. Baccarat with a great pass to Megan Walker back in the game. A step-back shot. 5 bounces and through. Yes, I counted.
Let's go, Bearcats.
16-0 run over 2.5 minutes for the Huskies. Rogers loses control. William Moore saved it. Here's Scott. Up and over and in for Jaden Scott, the 6'1" freshman from Georgia. Look at the numbers from the floor this quarter. Inside the final minute of quarter number 3. Attempted to get it to Evelyn on the roll.
Yeah, a little too much loft.
Yep. Rogers drives, feeds to Thomas. That goes up and in. Timeout called as Rogers goes down hard on the floor.
Yeah, Crystal Dangerfield a little late getting there to step in front of that pass.
Rogers stays in the game on a Baccarat end-to-end. Shot won't go. Knocks her own rebound out of bounds. Off of a Bearcat player, and it will be UConn ball. Shot clock off. 28.3 in the quarter. Should be a... That hit the rim? That's what they're questioning. Asking if the shot hit the rim. If it did, it'd be a 20-second shot clock. Thank you. I was confused for a second. They put 20 seconds on the shot clock now. So an 8.3 differential as the Huskies inbound. Dangerfield directs traffic. Here's Adebayo. Dangerfield, Walker. No. Wide left. There's Moore. Inside of 10 seconds to go for the Bearcats. Isaiah Moore will drive all the way to the bucket and get it to go. And a three-quarter court shot does not go. A 45-point lead for the Huskies, who came out of halftime with a 28-point gap. Very productive quarter number 3. Ready for the fourth quarter here in Cincinnati. Our game reset is presented by Town Fair Tire. Among the headlines tonight, Kristen Williams with 19 points and 8 rebounds. And the leading scorer in the American Conference, who averages nearly 20 a game, held to just 6 by the Husky defense. Megan Walker, one of 4 Huskies in double figures also.
Well, you know, she just continues to grind it out. She's been on the offensive glass. She's made good decisions. You know, she's just been relentless in the way she attacks the glass and finishes in the lane. I've been impressed by her work ethic and mixing it up in the lane and being physical.
Megan spent some time on the bench in this game, too, after picking up her 3rd foul. So all of that production coming in just 19 minutes as we play into the 31st minute now of the ballgame. The 5 on the floor for the Huskies. Dangerfield. High glass, won't go. Fight for the rebound, it goes to Rogers. Bearcats will have it. Miller cut off. Here's a day of war. There's Marquardt again. Rogers from way outside. Dangerfield was there. Megan Walker couldn't intercept the pass inbound for Reiser, who misses the shot. Rogers will grab the rebound for the Bearcats, go to the floor. And Marquardt will get down on the floor and tie it up. It'll stay with Cincinnati on the possession arrow.
And Sam Rogers spends a lot of time on the floor. She will be bruised tomorrow. Look at her knees.
She drew a couple offensive fouls earlier. She attempted to draw and didn't succeed. Nesma Khalifa into the game from Egypt, number 50 for the Bearcats. Really the only Bearcat in double figures with 4 to shoot. Runs into 2 Husky defenders, feeds Rogers. Won't go, but gets the rim. Moore will have to feed it out. Miller got it. That is a 2, but Cincinnati was made work for it by the Husky defense.
Yeah, there's no relenting in the pressure by the Huskies. That's got to make Gino proud.
Dangerfield, Williams, Marquardt from the corner, got it.
You know, they've just had really good spacing, and they've distributed the ball around very, very well tonight.
20 for Anna Marquardt in this ball game. Her season high is 24. Khalifa, back iron, long rebound to Crystal. Shields with the high glass floater from what, about 8 feet? And Dangerfield has 14. Miller for 3. Antoinette Miller has I think I just said this, the only Bearcat in double figures. She has 15. Next highest scorer for Cincinnati, a couple of players with 6. Megan Walker, front iron. Bounces all the way out to Crystal, and she'll bring it back out. Yeah, you talked about the no let-up in the defense, but that's one of the things Gino has talked about. Right? Said he wanted to see it for another 20 minutes at halftime when he said it was a great half on both ends of the floor for his team. 5 to shoot. Adebayo with the spin on the left hand, that won't go.
Couldn't get it to finish. With everything, but put it in the hoop.
Miller won't go. Adebayo with the rebound. With the push and now slow it down. Kristen Williams, strong. Nobody there to rebound for the Huskies.
A little quick on that trigger.
All the way into the paint for Adea Moore, and she gets it to go. Moore, the redshirt sophomore from Granite City, Illinois. Played her freshman season at Illinois. Now here with the Bearcats. Dangerfield taking up Megan Walker. After Dangerfield drew the defense in.
Well, that was a great shot there by Walker earlier in that possession. She yelled for the ball, and I knew she was going to make that. She just had a look about her.
Walker with the block all the way out to Rogers, who gets it to go. That's a 3.
Walker should get the assist.
Subs lined up at the table on both sides of the center court line. Megan Walker with plenty of time, and that puts her over 20 points on the night. Inbounds feed to Reiser. She got in behind Walker.
That's a pretty pass. There's no weak side help.
That is just the 3rd made shot of the night for Reiser out of 13. 4-3 from Megan out of the corner.
She's feeling it now.
25 now. And Miller is fouled by Adebayo on the way to the bucket, who reaches down to help her up. So timeout, just under halfway through quarter number 4. UConn up to 94 points on the strength of Megan Walker getting red hot from beyond the arc. 4 of 6 from 3 in this game, and now 25 points. Everybody's feeling it tonight here in Cincinnati.
My goal here was to come here and win a championship, and now I have 2 months to try and do that. After our last game, I said it'll really break my heart if we don't win one this year, because that's what I came here to win. There are a lot of areas that, as a team, we have to grow to get to that point, that we can get better and put ourselves in a good position to win one.
Senior leader of this Husky team talking about what the end goal is, to win a championship. And we all know from all the discussion all season long, there's a lot of work to be done to get to that position. But first steps first is to continue to get better, to peak in March. And this is one of the best performances we've seen from this team this season.
This is one of their best games that we have seen, certainly in the month of February.
So Antoinette Miller shooting free throws here for the Bearcats. Makes the lead 45 if she makes them both. Maria, what was going on in the Husky huddle?
Hey, Alan. Well, coach said in these final minutes he doesn't want anyone standing around on offense. Every time they have the ball, they should be cutting, setting screens, or flashing as an option.
Antoinette Miller, thank you, Maria. Antoinette Miller goes to the bench for Cincinnati and would appear to be done for the game with 17 points as the high for Cincinnati. Inbound to Adebayo, surrounded by 3 and still gets it up and in. Evelyn Adebayo with the bucket.
Good strong finish inside for the transfer.
Strong to the rim and hard to the floor goes Chella Watson. And a foul will be called on the Huskies. Watson
Pretty
still
pass.
down.
Look at that pretty pass from Irwin from the high post. And now she's just standing here. The kid just fell. And you saw Adebayo look over there like, what?
Well, now the officials talking it over. Do they need to make Watson go to the bench for a look after she hit the floor that hard? But they talk with her, and the smile as
a boxing match?
Karen Frano comes away from the conversation. And so Chella Watson, the freshman from Winder, Georgia, will shoot free throws here for the Bearcats.
So when she goes down,
yeah,
she hits her head.
Yeah, it's a hard fall.
I think it's okay.
And so the Bearcats crack 50 points, while the Huskies are within range of cracking 100. Front court pressure for Cincinnati, broken by Molly Bench and Kyla Irwin. Works on Amari Thomas, and a foul will be called on Thomas. That will send Evelyn to the free throw stripe. Here's a number for you, Meg, tonight. The Huskies are shooting 75% from beyond the arc. Their best number this season was the game against Tulsa, where they shot 60% from outside.
75% is just silly.
It's cartoonish, isn't it? 15 of 20. Gino wanting that full 40 minutes out of his team. Whoever's on the floor. Evelyn misses both. Griffith quickly closed on William Moore. Bring it back out to Watson. Molly Bent picks off the pass, then lost control. Gets it back, has it taken away. Jada Scott gets the ball back to the Bearcats, who get a reset on the shot clock. Scott. Jada gets it. That's a 2. One of the twin Scott sisters. Molly Bent on the cut. Pass was just too far ahead of her. Here comes Aaliyah Nelson. She'll fire it in to Scott. Good defense there by Irwin. Back into Scott, who will reach up and over Aubrey Griffin. Little 6-0 run by the Bearcats here. And Batuli Kamara goes to the scorer's table to check in. 3 minutes to go, 10 to shoot. Kristen Williams blocked on the way to the bucket, and a foul will be called on Jada Scott. And our drive of the game is presented by Nissan.
Terrific job by Dangerfield, splitting the defense and seeing that there was no help on that backside.
Crystal with 14 points tonight, and now Batuli Kamara into the game. Kyla Irwin goes out, and Kristen Williams with her 20th point of the ballgame. Perfect from the free throw strike tonight is Kristen. Really good from outside also. The long ball is errant. Turnover Cincinnati to UConn. Bearcats will set up some court pressure. Molly Bent. Front iron, rebound Aubrey Griffin. She'll get control of the ball, and then she'll be fouled by Jada Scott. So Huskies will inbound the ball from the side. With 2:38 to go in the ball game and 2 points away from the century mark. Kristen Williams, and the Huskies hit 100 for the first time this season. Nelson on Bent, feeds inbound, intercepted. Aubrey Griffin now. It's back under control and slows it down. Aubrey with 8 points in the ball game. She's played 17 minutes. Evelyn will drive right into the waiting arms of a defender. That'll be a tied-up ball. It'll stay with the Huskies on the possession arrow. Gary Apple and Carol Walters will have a lot to look at in their recap of tonight's game, plus Gino's post-game news conference as well on the UConn women's basketball post-game show presented by People's United Bank. Coming up on SNY. A three-pointer for Kristen.
Yeah, yet again.
And does not get the home roll. That's a day or more. Kristen will slow it down. Molly Bent calling out signals.
I can hear Jamel Elliott over here yelling instruction on the bench.
Batuli tried to get 2 for her. Won't go. Here comes Aaliyah Nelson. The Bearcats feeds in the corner. That's a 3 that won't go from Jordan Tuff, another of the freshmen into the ball game. 21 for the Bearcats. Batuli. Yes.
Batuli fighting a cold herself, not feeling great. Powering through, knocks down the foul line jumper.
And remember that there's Scott with the outside shot for 3. That's Jada. Remember that the Huskies have done a lot of this game without Olivia Nelson-Ododa. Under the weather today, only played 12 minutes in the ball game, no points, 3 rebounds. But the sign of a good team, picking up the slack when one of your teammates needs some help. Bent inbounds, and a foul will be called as Jada Scott had contact with Evelyn Adebayo.
Really good team effort here tonight for UConn. We talked a lot about their defense from the beginning of the game throughout, but their offense really went into another gear here tonight, and they needed to.
So under a half minute to go in the ball game. Kristen Williams, that doesn't go. Adebayo will bring it back out. One second differential between the shot clock and the game clock here. Huskies happy to dribble this one out. Cincinnati will continue to defend closely. And a shot clock violation will turn the ball to the Bearcats with 1.1 seconds to go. And that is it. One of the best efforts on both ends of the floor from this Husky team this season will result in a 47-point margin of victory. UConn hits 100 for the first time in the year. 4 players in double figures, 3 of them over 20 points. Huskies shot 56.5% from the floor during the game, holding Cincinnati to 31.9% shooting. And it's a 105-58 final score for UConn. And our players of the game presented by People's United Bank, Megan Walker and Kristen Williams.
Walker again, just such a solid performance, quietly scoring 25 points, and Williams, those 26 and 4 of 5 from three-point range. Probably the most beautiful thing for Gino and his coaching staff to see tonight.
Now let's get the thoughts of the head coach. Maria is with Gino.
Coach, is it safe to say you executed your game plan the way you wanted to tonight?
Yeah, well, you know, we say this all the time. You know, it starts on the defensive end, and if you do a great job defensively, which we did, and, you know, get yourself in transition a little bit. And once we got into a little bit of a rhythm, you know, players loosened up a little bit. It always feels good when you see the ball go in the basket, and, you know, everybody that played really well today. So it's a great team effort.
Do you think Kristen Williams got some of her swagger back?
Well, let's hope so. I mean, she's really been struggling of late. So anytime you make a couple, you're going to feel really good, and you can tell, you know, that her confidence went up as the game went on. You know, you just got to build on it now. You know, we got another game Saturday, and we'll see where this takes us.
How nice is it to be able to rely on Megan Walker?
Well, you know, she got herself in a little bit of foul trouble, and when you know, Kyla and Aubrey came in and gave us a great lift. You know, and then when Meg came back in, you know, she did what she does. You know, she makes shots. So it was good to see that we were able to, you know, play well when she was in the game and play well when she wasn't in the game.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Alan?
Okay, Maria. Tomorrow's headlines right now. Kristen Williams, slump buster game in Cincinnati as the Huskies hang 100 on the Bearcats. 105-58 your final. More from Cincinnati coming up. Well, a lot to talk about on the postgame show, and more basketball coming your way this week on SNY. Our next UConn game is Saturday afternoon from Texas as the Huskies take on the Houston Cougars. We're with you starting with the pregame show at 2:30 p.m. And after postgame coverage tonight, keep it here on SNY. Another episode coming up of the Gino Auriemma Show. For Megan Kilmo, Maria Marino, and our entire SNY crew, Alan Bestwick, so long for now from Cincinnati. Time for the People's United Bank postgame show with Gary Apple and Kara Walters.
All right, Alan, we thank you. Back to you and Meg just a little bit, man. This was a Cincinnati team that came in, the second best team in the American Conference, man. UConn dominated them tonight. What was most impressive to you?
They made progress tonight, Garrett. Like you could see it was one of their best overall games, offensively and defensively. And defense set the tone early on. The offense came as the game went on. But man, as far as complete game, everybody contributing, everyone doing things on the offensive end, the defensive end, sharing the basketball. I think it was one of their most complete games of the season.
This was a step forward, and I continue to contend they are trending, Kara, in the right direction. I know everybody's writing UConn off off
Yeah.
when you talk about the tournament in March and then into April. I don't think it's over just yet,
No.
as they go to 24-3 on the season, 14-0 in the American Conference. How about Kristen Williams? If she ever needed a breakout game, it was tonight, and she had a breakout game. What was most impressive about what she did tonight?
She is just thanking the sky that she had a game. It was great because she rebounded. She did other things. Again, Gino's telling her, don't focus on your shot. It will come. She spent a lot of time in the gym. She's been the first one in the gym, the last one to leave lately. And Gino said she's putting in the time. Sometimes shots don't fall, right? Early on, she missed some easy bunnies, so it was good. To start the game, I thought, oh, boy, here we go. She's not busting out, but I like that she stuck with it mentally. And Megan Walker told her, you have to have a short memory as a shooter, right? Short memory. She keeps going in this game. She rebounds the ball. She shoots the ball, knocked down threes, taking it off the bounce, so many things. And that, more so than physical, that was a huge mental game.
I think so, and you're right. She did it in a variety of ways. She did make 4 3-pointers in the game, but aggressive off the bounce, attacking the tin, and that sort of got her going tonight. Let's get a look right now. Full game stats presented by People's United Bank. UConn shot it very well. They defended well. Look at that from downtown, 70%, 16 of 23 from beyond the arc. They owned the glass. They owned the points in the paint, and they only turned it over. They forced 10 turnovers in the game as they go on to get the win. 105-58 is the final from Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati, Ohio. As we head back there right now, welcome back in, Ellen Bestwick and Meg Colmo. And guys, I do want to focus in here on for a moment on one of the freshmen, Anna Makarat, because I think we continue to see the maturity from Anna. She had a strong game last couple of games, 20 points tonight. And one of the things Karen and I have spoken about, she's now putting it on the deck and creating for herself. And I really think that's opened up the floor for her. What are you seeing from Anna Makarat?
You know, I agree with you guys. There's confidence that just sort of is exuding out of Anna, the way she's playing, and she just feels so much more confident with the ball, making decisions, and then you know, she's taken her three-point shot. I mean, it just looks so much smoother because of how good she feels.
A couple of weeks ago, Gina had Anna in his office, and he said to her, look, you played pro ball in Poland against some pretty good players, and you averaged 8 points a game and 3 rebounds a game. He said, you can do this. And I think that shortly after that meeting, it kind of took hold, this surge we've seen of confidence in Anna. We're seeing it in every facet. Ball handling, taking her shots, not hesitating taking those shots. It's been kind of fun to watch her blossom here right at the best time of the season.
Hey, Meg. Hey, Alan. Talk about their defense.
Hello, Kara.
Hi. They set the tone with their defense, but they also played really good offense. Do you think it's one of those things that Gino said, hey, let's just focus on being a really good defensive team, and then the offense will come?
Hey, Kara, hit one more time. We lost who you were saying about the little audio glitch.
Is going in and out.
Do you think this is a team that they said, let's focus on defense, and then the offense will come? Because not only do they have a great defensive game, but an offensive game as well.
Yeah, turning defense into offense has been a theme we've heard preached over and over again. And what was it, a couple of weeks ago, Gino started talking about, yeah, we switched the focus of practice a little bit to the defense now. And the transition points and the effort on the focus on the defensive end of the floor has been great.
It has. And you know what? It also, when you're working so much on defense and thinking about all of that, obviously they turn defense into offense, but then you're not obsessing so much about the offense and what you're not doing there. I think that has helped them tremendously. We talked about the confidence with Anna, but the confidence that they're playing defense with, then that's transcending up to the offensive end of the floor as well.
I would think so, and they held Cincinnati again to 32% shooting tonight. It's a Cincinnati team that came in averaging about 70 points a game on the season, and they scored just 58 tonight. So getting it done on the defensive end, big for the Huskies. Alan and Meg, we thank you both. We'll see you on Saturday from deep in the heart of Texas.
Guys.
Down in Houston, safe travels. And not to get overlooked here in tonight's game, Megan Walker quietly 25 points tonight.
Yeah.
She was awfully impressive.
I would love being quiet as a player.
Quiet
if
25.
That's a quiet 25 points. And again, we talk about you know, doing a variety of things. Megan Walker, man, she can shoot the three. She can take it to the hole. Rebounding. She did a terrific job rebounding the basketball, getting points on the board. So many ways she did so many good things. And she passed the ball extremely well, also getting teammates open. So she's doing a little of being a facilitator, being a scorer. And you can tell there's a certain gleam in her eye that's like, okay, this is crunch time. I don't have time to mess around. Let's do this. So she's come out with a little swagger in her, more so than normal. And then now you add Kristen on top of that, getting her swagger back. So a lot of good things happening at the right time.
One of the things UConn did not have tonight was much of Olivia Nelson-Ododa. She played just a dozen minutes. We know she got hit in the face, in the nose in the game against UCF on Saturday. That really was not the issue tonight.
Yeah.
She was dealing with a bug, and so she tried to give it a go. She did not look like herself, and she was not on the floor for long tonight. And I think with that being tossed into the equation, the fact that UConn out-rebounded Cincinnati 49-28 says a lot. Without their big out on the floor tonight, that they dominated the glass.
Yeah, because that's a really important thing, right? They're not a big team, and especially if Olivia gets into foul trouble or gets hurt or whatever, they really go small. So they made a concerted effort. You can see the way they're putting bodies on people. Not only do you have to box out, you have to push back. So they're really fighting in there for rebounds really, really well. For an undersized team, you have to work even harder on the boards, and boy, they got a lot of opportunities doing that.
Well,
that's just heart and hustle, right?
And one of the things we've spoken about, listen, the losses to South Carolina and to Oregon and to Baylor, they sort of got out-toughed in those games, and we have spoken about that they need to get better in that area
for sure
as they head into the postseason. I think we're seeing a concerted effort.
Yeah, I kind of like it. They have this little, this little, like, there's no pressure. Nobody thinks we're doing anything, so we're just going to go out and have fun and play basketball. And you saw them have fun today, right? Everybody on the bench, everybody contributed in this game. So whenever anyone was sitting on the bench, they were cheering. So it's supposed to be fun, ladies, right? So they're having fun, and that helps a lot.
So UConn now 134-0 all-time in the American Conference. Next year, heading to the Big East. They're trying to close things out in the American in style. Kara and I just getting going here. People's United Bank post-game show. When we come back, complete game highlights from Cincinnati, plus going to hear more from Kristen Williams. She had the breakout game, and Gino Oriaba, the Hall of Famer. His post-game address to the media is on the way. We're back from Studio 31 here in New York City in just a moment. Here we go. Complete game highlights. Gary Apple back alongside Kara Walters. Number 6 UConn taking on Cincinnati. Anna Makarat going to work, putting it on the floor, flipping it up, getting the basket and the foul. UConn up by 5 after the three-point play, and then Megan Walker being aggressive.
Putting it on the floor. She had that shot, takes it to the hole, gets fouled.
UConn started slow, but they led the game by 8 after 1 in the second. Huskies turning it up on the defensive end. Megan Walker with the block, and then there they go the other way.
And they hold the leading scorer in the conference to just 6 points.
Kristen Williams lays it in. UConn by 13, and then Megan Walker from beyond the arc as a team. UConn shot it very well from downtown. They made 16 threes in the game, tied for the third most in school history. Seconds later, it's Williams who buries it from the right side.
And that starts with good spacing and great passing.
Kyla Irwin getting it done on the defensive end, holding her ground. She forces the miss, and then Makarat again. The three-point play, the left hand right there. UConn closing out the half on a 22-3 run. They were up by 28 at the break. Then no let up in that third quarter, thanks in large part to Anna Makarat.
And the step back. So not only did she put it on the deck, the step back.
So confident, and then Makarat off the feed from Dangerfield, and UConn just rolling. Makarat had 20 in the game, and the UConn bench providing solid play tonight.
And Kyla Irwin knocking down some threes tonight.
Aubrey Griffin inside, good body control, gets the basket and the foul. Later in that third quarter, Irwin
working. My girl.
You like the way she
knocked that
plays.
one down.
She had 8 points. Williams' reemergence very much on display tonight.
Ooh, with someone in her face just shooting with confidence.
She hit 4 threes in the game. Later in that third quarter, it's Williams drains another 3. She led everybody in the game with 26 points. UConn wins convincingly, 105-58. They're now 23-0 all-time against Cincinnati. Back out to Fifth Third Arena. Here's Maria Marino with Kristen Williams.
Kristen, you've been putting in a lot of extra work to see your shot fall the way you want. How did it feel to see that happen tonight?
It felt great. I've been struggling a lot this season to hit some shots, and it felt good to see it go in tonight.
How do you and how does the whole team get into an offensive rhythm?
I think it starts with our defense. Just getting steals and getting down in transition. I think that gets us flowing.
You mentioned the defense. So what are some other things that you're going to be focusing on in this final stretch of games of this regular season?
Rebounding. Rebounding will be key. We're not the biggest team, so we have to really focus on that.
Okay, thanks, Kristen.
No problem. Thank you.
So there it is, everything we spoke about.
Yes.
Defense, rebounding, those are the things. Even when you're not having good shooting night, those are the things that you win those battles, you can stay in basketball games.
Yes, absolutely. And it's good because it takes your mind off. Like Megan said in general when we had that interview, takes your mind off the focus of offense. Now, you know, Kristen Williams, was it a question of in her head she got too mental with the shooting, or was it the UConn's offense being stagnant that she wasn't getting opportunities? That's the big question. But to me, it's no coincidence she had a great game and UConn's offense seemed to flow more, right? So you had cutters, you had movement, you had passing. So I think a little of it is a combination of the offense being a little stagnant, but now we see tonight, right, how she broke out because UConn's offense.
I think that's a really good point right there because, you know, Gino's spoken about it in the past. The ball has had a tendency to stick offensively. And you know, we've talked about with the players who graduated last year, Katie Lou and Nafisa, players being put in different positions and having to create more for themselves.
Yes.
And that's been an adjustment for players like Kristen Williams. And you're right, Kara, with the offense flowing much better, back cuts, people getting better shots, all of a sudden, what do you know, those shots are going in.
Yeah, and the spacing, I really noticed the spacing tonight, and that starts there. Because Olivia Nelson-Ododa wasn't in the game today, you didn't have that post presence, so they said, okay, let's spread the floor, get good spacing, and cut. And when they cut, good things happen. They kick it out, they kick it in, a lot of movement. So today was it was a big game all around. A lot of things went really well, and hopefully Kristen Williams will get out of her head and realize, hey, when we play great team offense, good things happen for me as well. So, you know, you've always said it. Don't count these Huskies out, right? They are peaking at the right time and getting everything. You get Anna going, you get Kristen going, everybody going at the right time. Aubrey's playing great defense, which they wouldn't win games if they didn't have that specialty. So, I don't know. Little luck, perfect storm. We'll see.
Right, freshman growing up a little bit, Makarat's growing up. Aubrey Griffin, as you mentioned right there, she had a solid game, and she's a defender, and she played tough. She had 8 points and 7 rebounds, all a part of the UConn win tonight, 105-58. What do you know, the month of March and tournament time just around the corner. We've got more to come when we come back. Post-game address to the media by the Hall of Famer Gino Auriemma. We'll hear from Gino on the other side of a break. Drive of the game right now presented by Subaru. Crystal Dangerfield putting it on the floor and all the way to the basket. Worth another look. She had 14 points in the game, did Crystal. Also 7 rebounds and 6 assists. Kind of quiet tonight, but another solid game for Crystal Dangerfield. That is the drive of the game. It is presented by Subaru. Let's get the thoughts of Gino Auriemma right now. His post-game address to the media. We listen in as we head back to Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati.
Coach, obviously this was one of the, I would venture to guess, the best shooting you guys have had this season, especially for so many people to be able to kind of join in on that, Kristen be able to come out of that slump. Was it just sort of the thing where once it got rolling, everything just kind of fell into place, or what did you see from the team tonight?
At some point in the beginning of the season, I remember saying, I think we're a pretty good three-point shooting team, you know, but it's been kind of streaky. Some days we're really good, some days we're not so good. But what was good to see today was that once we got into some kind of a flow, you know, and people started seeing the ball go in the basket, and everybody just kind of loosened up a little bit, and next thing you know, I've always said shooting is like baseball hitting. It's contagious, you know. Once a couple guys start knocking them in, everybody starts knocking them in. The basket looked, you know, this big. But it all started, you know, because we worked really, really hard defensively and gave ourselves opportunities to get up the floor kind of quickly. And so, yeah, at both ends, it was, you know, about as well as we could have played, you know. Coming into the game, we said this is what we want to do, and we pretty much got accomplished everything we thought we wanted to.
And how about Kristen? Obviously, she went from one of her worst scoring outputs last game, and then she comes out with 26. And obviously, there's still maybe it won't completely change overnight, but this seemed like a good step in the right direction.
It is because, when you're a scorer and you can't score, it's like the whole world doesn't seem right for you. You just can't see your way out of it because, you stay in the gym, you shoot more, and that doesn't help. You shoot less, that doesn't help. You try to be more aggressive, and all you do is dribble into trouble. So a lot of bad things were happening for her, and to see see a couple go in, you could just see it's like a big fog was lifted at, she just looked more relaxed once a couple of them went in, and then instead of being tentative, she became very sure of herself. And you're right. What's that mean for Saturday? I don't know, but I feel better than I did yesterday about Saturday. I feel better about Saturday than I did about today as far as Kristen goes.
We were surprised to see Olivia wasn't wearing a mask. Just how do you think she handled that? And obviously, she's shown some toughness playing through that.
The mask wasn't the problem today. She didn't practice. She's got it's, I guess, not a full-blown flu, but she was sick all day, so she didn't come to shoot around. She didn't look good yesterday, and I was hoping she'd get better, but she didn't. And we didn't even know if she was going to play until we got here. And, she said, let's give it a shot, see what happens. And, she gave it a run, and hopefully, she'll be ready to go on Saturday. But the mask part, she didn't need one because it really wasn't as bad as it looked. Nothing's broken in there or anything. So keep our fingers crossed that she's feeling better tomorrow.
So Saturday, your last regular season road game, and in the AAC and this season, considering after that, I guess the next time you're going to be on the road will be the tournament. Just what do you hope to get out of that, and are there any benefits to
Well, it seems like we've been on the road a lot this year, even though I know it's the same number of home games as away games, but it just seems like there's been a ton of travel. And this is not one of the easier trips either, down to Houston. And then we come home and we only got one day, and then we got, South Florida. Obviously, the goal is to win these two games this coming weekend, to win Saturday, win Monday. That's the plan. And then take a couple days off and get some rest, and then get ready to hopefully win 3 games in 3 days. And then take a bunch of days off and try to get ready for the tournament. So, play Saturday, play Monday. Try to play as well as we played tonight, and get some rest. That's the plan.
SNY reached an agreement to keep games on next year. Just, I know you've been outspoken about that in the past, and your desire to see that through. Just what are your feelings on that?
Well, a big part of what we do at UConn is, we try to share our games with as many people as we can, and SNY has become an integral part of our program. There's so many people around the country that rely on SNY to bring them the games. We had a woman drove here from Michigan to watch the game. She says she watches every game she can on TV. We have fans all over the country that are able to watch the games, and now that Fox is going to have the rights to the Big East games, that they were able to work out an arrangement with SNY. I think SNY is going to end up having about the same number of games they had this year. So it's going to be great for our fans. It's going to be great for, not just the fans that are local, but the fans all over the country. And I think it's also going to be really good for the other Big East teams. because now every time they play us, they're going to get a ton of exposure that they weren't getting before. And that's going to help. You know, the fact that a lot of the teams are, you know, you've got, you know, Providence and St. John's and Seton Hall and Villanova. There's a lot of Northeast teams. And so I'm excited for SNY. I'm excited for our league, you know, next year. And mostly I'm excited for the fans, because I think this is great. Because I know that was a big part of us. You know, I don't want to get too far into it, but what happened today was a big part of what we were hoping to make happen. And we're ecstatic that it happened. I can't say enough good things about the people at SNY.
All right, Gino, we thank you. And the feeling is without question mutual. It has been such a terrific relationship, and let's follow up on it. We're excited to announce here on SNY we have reached, indeed, as Gino was speaking about right there, a multi-year deal with Fox Sports to remain the home of UConn women's basketball. SNY is going to televise up to 18 regular season games per year over the course of the deal, and will continue to include our broadcasts, our pregame shows and postgame shows. SNY President Steve Rabb had this to say about the deal, and I'm quoting Steve right here. "We are thrilled to continue to serve UConn's passionate fans on SNY through this agreement with Fox Sports. SNY could not be prouder of its partnership with Gino and the UConn women's basketball program. For 8 seasons, SNY has provided unprecedented coverage of the university's women's basketball program, helping grow UConn's record-setting audience in the region and across the country." End quote. And I think we certainly do. As Steve put it well right there. We feel the same way. And listen, you and I are going to be together for a number of more years. Listen, yes, we hope, certainly. But this has been a great partnership, and it has really been very beneficial to the UConn program. And to us as well. Certainly, it's been a two-way street.
And for Gino, adding to that, right?
Yes.
For the new conference, that adds that level of it. But so great. And when SNY mics up Gino, people love that part. I mean, unprecedented coverage, right with the Gino show and with everything. So we are grateful. I'm grateful. I love my SNY family, and I know everyone out there, even the little ladies that stop me in the grocery store asking me to get cereal off the top shelf for them, say I watch my SNY all the time. So I'm very, very happy to hear that.
Yeah, I think we all are, and great to be continuing this partnership with you as well, Kara. Before we head for break, I do want to hit on one more thing from tonight's game, and that's Aubrey Griffin, because I mentioned her a little while ago. I think we're seeing her grow before our eyes here. 8.7 rebounds. She's playing with more confidence. She provides a level of toughness for this UConn team that I think sometimes they do miss.
Yes, and defense, that's her thing. That's where she says she has her confidence. She knows she's a great defender. So if she had this on top of it, right, the offense, the gravy, as Bob Cousy used to call it, you add that part of your game, and that's a bonus to them, right? Because I think they said, Aubrey, concentrate on what you're good at, and that's defense. And defense leads to offense. But now she's getting involved with the actual offense and screening and cutting. You can get those points from her. That's gravy.
Yeah, didn't Bob Cousy used to say that to your father?
To my father.
At Boston College?
His thing was, you're there to rebound, and if you score, that's gravy. So it's kind of the same with Aubrey, but Gino would like to see a lot of gravy, wouldn't she?
Yes.
Wouldn't he?
Didn't your dad have a 30-rebound game at Boston College?
He did. And he asked me why I didn't get the rebounding gene.
We're not done here on our post-game show. When we come back, I want to take a look at the road ahead for UConn. 2 more regular season games to go now before the conference tournament coming up first week of March. Kara and I back in a jiff. Time now for a look at UConn's upcoming schedule. Just 2 games to go as the Huskies go to face off against Houston on Saturday, then finish the regular season March 2nd at home against South Florida. The AAC tournament tipping off on March the 6th. And you can catch UConn's next game right here on SNY. Huskies going to take on the Cougars deep in the heart of Texas down in Houston on Saturday. Kara and I going to get set for all the action on the UConn women's basketball pregame show that begins at 2:30 in the afternoon once again on Saturday. And so that is going to wrap up our coverage of UConn basketball on this evening. Once again, 105-58. UConn gets the win. Always wonderful spending the night with you, Kara.
You too.
Thanks so much. On the way out the door, sights and sounds of UConn's win tonight. And then following that, the Gino Auriemma Show, the latest edition, coming up in a mere matter of moments. Enjoy.